Yo, what? Yo, what is going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Erskmac, the mad scientist. Welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel, one of the hottest black up-and-coming comic book YouTube channels on this side of the Dakotaverse, and another episode, great episode of Saturday Morning Comics, man. I hope you guys had an awesome week this week. You guys had an awesome week. I knew you guys had an awesome week. Stupendous week. Awesome week. Man, I'm glad you guys was able to attend, man, to show up to Saturday Morning Comics, man. Because I listen, I know last week was crazy. Last week was crazy, man. For Saturday Morning Comics live show, we got the most views like on that channel for a live show, like, period. And you guys pulled up for your boy, man. So, and listen, I got a lot of subscribers, and what's funny about it is that Renzi, one of the art directors for Comics the Magazine, actually commented on the Saturday Morning Comics live show last week. And what's funny about it, funny enough, I said I was going to cover Comics the Magazine this weekend, like today. So obviously you seen that in the thumbnail. We got a lot to cover, bros and sisters. We got a lot to cover. We got our indie comic of the week. Obviously, I got to show you my pull. The books that I got in the past week or so. Our main event, we're going to be talking about Comics the Magazine and what it brings to the table as far as the comic book spectrum, the LCS, and what it means for you and me. Also, we're gonna be breaking down the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. We're gonna be talking about Invincible. We're gonna be talking about Steel Ball Run that premiered on Netflix. Yeah, we got a lot. And also, we're gonna be talking about Nightwing leaping into the light. I had my experience with that, so we got a lot to talk about, guys. Man, you already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, especially if you are a newcomer or returning, because when you hit that notification bell, make sure you hit that drop down box that says all, because when you says all, it lets you know that anything that you get from us is going to be live recorded. You're going to get that notification. That way you won't miss anything. I think a lot of us, because I know we subscribe to other YouTube channels as well, we just hit that subscribe button and we automatically think that, you know, our stuff is just going to pop up, or the stuff that you subscribe to is automatically going to pop up. 9 times out of 10, it may not. You have to go to that drop down box and select all instead of personalized, because, you know, you might see it on the random, like on your feed. But if you want to get notifications like, hey, this person got a new episode, you want to select all, man. Shout out to my boy Jay Penumbra. He said, just popping in on my drive to the chorus tour. Hyped to hear what you got to say. And yo, not for nothing, Jay Penumbra was the one that actually put me on Comics the Magazine indirectly, because he was talking about it on his Threads account, and he said, guys, I need to go ahead and pick up Comics the Magazine. And one of we have 3 comic book stores here, and one of them did not have it. There was no orders for it, but there was another comic book store, and there were orders for it. And I automatically put it on my pull list. Listen, anytime this book comes out, just put it in my pull box. Just put it on my pull box, and we are Gucci. So, yeah, shout out to Jay Penumbra, man. And also, if you just so happen to miss the interview I had with Jay Penumbra, go ahead and check out our prior live videos and check out the interview between myself and Jay Penumbra, because he was the one who put me on Shiloh's Mr. Miracle, Source of Freedom. He put me on that. So I talked about that last week. Had a lot of fun reading that book. And then here he goes. He put me on Comics the Magazine, and there were some other books that I was reading as well. And also, I'm going to tell you guys, what is my plan? What is my goal for next week as far as books that I'm going to be covering? But first, I got to give you guys my pull list. All right. I got to give you guys, you know, your boy been a little busy. He been catching up a little bit. So I got to give you guys what I got as far as my pull. So the first book is Mr. Miracle, the deluxe edition by Tom King, Mitch Gerads. And this was a gift. All right. This was a gift. Shout out to my fiance. My future wife, because she was listening to the show, or watching the show rather. and she heard the fact that I do not have anything Mr. Miracle outside of Source of Freedom. And she put me up, man. You know what I'm saying? She gave me this deluxe edition of Mr. Miracle, Tom King, and the Eisner Award-winning hardback cover, okay? This is not a trade paperback. This is a hard book cover. This cover is badass. So I cannot wait to jump up in this. And yes, I'm talking Hollywood Reporter, Pace Magazine, Nerdist, Polygon, Vulture, Wired, all commented on this book. So I cannot wait to break this book open. And this is a black label. This is DC Black Label, so this is not even the main continuity. What we gonna talk about today? Obviously, I got Comics the Magazine, my very first issue of Comics the Magazine. You see that price tag right there? I don't know. Yeah, there you go. You see that price tag right there. So definitely going to be talking about this. I did get Shadow of Maul, which is a prelude to the upcoming show on Disney Plus, Darth Maul. So definitely going to be reading this. I didn't have a chance to read this quite yet. I did open it and skim through the pages. Benjamin Percy's is actually part of this. So, and also, if you look on the back, there's an Ewoks. There's an Ewoks book too. So, that's coming out. If you are a fan of Ewoks, man, you know, either way. Now, on the indie scene, I had to get it. I had to get Roots of Madness issue number 5 by our homie Stephanie Williams. Like, she is cooking out here. There's one more issue after this. And what's funny about it is that I bought this book and I told my fiance about it, and she told me straight out, you're gonna have to come up off that, B. You're gonna have to run that. You know, when I come by the house, like, make sure it's on my side of the bed. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's laying there. I'm like, whoa, hold up, pump your brakes. Like, this wasn't for you. This is for me. And then she had a rebuttal, right? She's told me, she's like, oh, well, that's cool. But after you finish reading it, you're going to leave it on my side of the bed, though. Like, you're going to run that book. Like, I like that for me. I like the fact that she's into comic books. But let me tell you something. I got to get my collection back, all right, when it comes to Roots of Madness, because I had issue number 1 of Roots of Madness. I gave her issue number 1. Stephanie signed issue number 1. She did get issue number 2 as well. Also, I gave her issue number 3 and 4 mailed to her house. And I'm like, whoa, I got to get my collection back. I got to get it back. So I got to get my issue number 1. I got issue number 2 and 3. I just need to get issue number 1 and 4, and that way it can complete this collection. But yeah, she's gonna have to fight me for this one. She gonna have to fight me for this one. I'm just letting you know right now. There's gonna be some rumbling and tumbling for this book. That Willoughby said, "What show is finna be hers anyway, though?" Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. Hey, man, listen. You know what's funny? I've been protecting my hoodies for a very long time. I have been protecting my hoodies for a long time, man. And she took a hoodie or two, and I took them back, right? I took a shirt. I like, you know what? You take my hoodies, I'm going to take your Tupperware. Like, two people can play this game, and she got some fine Tupperware. Take my hoodies, I'm going to take your Tupperware. It's only fair. It's only right. And from Heroes Con, was it Heroes Con? Yeah, the Heroes Convention. Yeah, it was a Heroes Convention, Heroes Con. I did, this is also Usagi Yojimbo Bunraku number 1 by Stan Sakai. I got this book right here. I haven't cracked this book open yet, but anything with Steve Sakai, oh, I'm sorry, not Steve, Stan Sakai and Usagi Yojimbo is very, very good. So cannot wait to jump up into that. And speaking of Usagi Yojimbo, this book, Kaito 84, this book right here. Now, this is one of the books I'm going to be covering next week. I did read this book. I did enjoy this book. So I will be covering this book, Kaito 84. And if you are a fan of Usagi Yojimbo, this is the book for you. It's issues number 1 to 5. This is a mini. As soon as it said 84, I already know the 80s aesthetic is in there. So think about 80s Japan, that era, and I really do like the aesthetic of 80s Japan. You know what I mean? If you ever played Yakuza, there is a time period where you go back to the 80s, and it kind of gives you that, you know, that feeling of what it was like in the 80s in Japan. So yeah, so Kaito 84. Definitely want to get that by Dark Horse Comics. I got issue number 1. So if you have not gotten this book, you might want to get this book. But what's funny about it is that I went to one of my LCS and I was looking for this book and it was sold out. Could not find this book. But I went to my second option and I got the book then. And now I got it on my pull list. So there we have it with that. So now this is just a cool cover. Honestly, I do read Shredder. I got to catch up on Shredder. But this was an awesome cover right here. Bam. This book right here. Yeah. So I did get that because I saw that artwork. I keep passing by it, right? I keep passing by it on the carousel. I'm like, you calling me. You calling me. You calling me. Willie B was like, that's where you get them. Take the Tupperware and their cups and their mugs because they always got some nice ones. Yes, they always got some nice ones. She got some nice mugs, man. I got some too, but yeah. I told her, I said, you take my hoodie, I'm going to take your Tupperware. That's all it is to it. That's all it is to it. I'm going to just, this is war. I hope this war goes on forever. You know what I mean? I'm gonna win it. I'm getting back into my Speed Racer game, so I did get Speed Racer by number 6 by David Pepos. This is an awesome looking cover. So, great book. I read issue number 1, issue number 2, so I'm getting back into Speed Racer. So, I know Speed Racer took a little bit of a break and then it's back now, and so I did pick this up. Awesome cover. So I'm gonna crack this open and I will be covering Speed Racer as well. So I'm definitely gonna be jumping into the indie game a little bit more. I'm dipping my toe in a little bit more and just see how, you know, you guys receive it. One thing I will say though, I will say straight out is that when it comes to covering independent comics, and not just you guys. I mean, I know you guys pull up every single time. I know Ernie Blur Without Fear talks about it a little bit. Like whenever we cover independent comics, it doesn't get as many views as like the big two. It don't get many views as like DC or Marvel or whatever the case would be. But we got to show up for these indie books because these indie books are, for the most part, sometimes better than the main continuity stuff, man. You got to expand your horizons a little bit. You got to go out there and, you know, us comic book YouTube creators, we out here, we doing our thing. But yeah, Speed Racer issue number 6, David Pepos. Definitely going to be covering that. One day I will have David Pepos on the show. Like one day I'm going to have him there. One day. Next one is The Return of Racer X number 5 by Mark Russell. Awesome looking cover, man. Awesome looking cover. Really do love this book. Yeah, so The Return of Racer X right here. So yeah, so this goes along with it goes along with the Speed Racer, and obviously Racer X and Speed are, you know, brothers. And so this is really a high octane book. This is not David Pepos, this is Mark Russell. And yeah. So very good book. The artwork is a little bit different than it is a Speed Racer, but because if you look in this one, Speed Racer is a little bit more colorful here, like brighter, and Racer X is, I wouldn't say less colorful, but it's like a little bit more grounded, action-packed, spy-ish kind of thing. So yeah, Return of Racer X and Speed Racer. Also, I got Blue Falcon and Dynamite issue number 1. This is what I have right here from Dynamite Comics. One thing about Mad Cave and Dynamite, they are cooking. You understand what I'm saying? Dynamite has Space Ghost, Blue Falcon and Dynamite. This is not the Blue Falcon Dynamite that you remember from back in the day. This is not one of those. You know, this is not that type of cartoon. This book is violent. You know what I'm saying? This book is violent, man. So my first time dipping my toe in the Blue Falcon and Down on Mud. The covers are always lovely, always good. Paul Miani is actually part of this, Jimmy Paul Miani. And so yeah, Blue Falcon Down on Mud issue number 1. Now there are several other issues that are out there. I'm gonna just let you know. I'm just behind the times. Like I got a backlog of books that I have not read yet. Okay, and so dipping my toe back into it. But yeah, Blue Falcon and Down on Mud. Get your hands on that. Also, one more back into the main continuity. I got Nightwing, The Crossroads start here. And one of the reasons why I picked up this book is What we're gonna talk about a little bit later on is Nightwing leaping into the light. But I have not read this book yet on purpose because I haven't read like a Nightwing book like straight out, right? So I'm like, whoa. I got Leaping into the Light. I got the DC Compact comic. So let me read that first, right? So I read that first to get an idea. Even though that is Tom Taylor, this right here is Dan Waters. One of the other reasons why I got this book is because Dennis Cowan is on the art on this right here. Dennis Cowan is on this series, and you already can tell how, just based off the pictures, how this looks. Like, Dennis Cowan is one of the best artists out there around. Now, if you're not familiar with Dennis Cowan, there you go over here. You know what I mean? That Milestone, he's part of the Milestone family, one of the Milestone founders, Dennis Cowan. So he is actually on this book of Nightwing. I already know this book is going to be heat. So there you go. Now, the last two books that I did get, I told you I had a stack. So the last two books I got is from Oni Press, and I got issues number 1 and 2 of 5, and that is Crownsville. Okay, issue number 1 and 2 of Crownsville. This is, if you love Lovecraft Country, this gives this feel. If you love Roots of Madness, this book right here is the book for you, right? Ashley, what's funny about it is that Ernie from Blur Without Fear, he actually talked about this last Saturday on his show. And that's how I got to know the Crownsville by Rodney Barnes. So I immediately went to the comic book store last Saturday after I finished with the show and picked up issue number 1 and 2 of Crownsville. Now, issue number 3 and 4, I want to say, is already out. And also, I want to say that the trade paperback, or the graphic novel version of Crownsville will be out later on this summer. So, yeah. Definitely get this book, right? If you want to support some independent comics and independent black comics, yeah, Crownsville is it. Crownsville is it, man. So that, for me, that is it. That is it. That's my pull list for this week, man. I told you, it's been a lot. I spent a little bit of money. However, one of the LCS I go to, if you spend $25 or more, they'll stamp a card for you, and once you fill out that whole card, like with the stamps of $25 or more, you get $25 off your next purchase. Now, I got over $100 in like credits. Okay, I got over $100 in credits, so I'm ready to go. So when Free Comic Book Day surfaces, I'm going to that comic book store and I'm a clean house, because I ain't really got to come out of pocket like that. I don't have to come out of pocket, because you already know when it comes to Free Comic Book Day, comic books are going to be discounted, right? There's going to be some sales going on, right? Obviously, you got some free comic books that's going to be out there, right? So, yeah, I'm going to have a little stack. I'm going to go off. And that's going to be fun for me. So, I did ask him, like, hey, are y'all still doing Free Comic Book Day? Because Free Comic Book Day is still a thing. I know with Diamond Distributors, things got a little wonky, but it is what it is. But Free Comic Book Day is coming. So, yeah. So, we are talking about our indie comic book of the week. And the indie comic book of the week for you guys is called Exit City by London Mostert and art by Baron Sharp. Now, I read issue number 1 and 2 of Exit City. I wouldn't say that it is cyberpunkish, but it is teetering on the cyberpunkish genre of it. Now, when you think of like cyberpunk, you think about Cyberpunk 2077, you think about Blade Runner, you think about like a dark city with like neon lights all over the place. That is not something I've seen in issue number 1 and 2, but it does give a cyberpunk feel. Okay, it does give a cyberpunk feel. Really did like this story, man. Really did like this story. This story is about these two detectives, Eve Miller and McCormick. Now, about her, Eve Miller, she used to being in Exit City. Exit City is the city that is part of the U.S., but not part of the U.S., because they explain that in the first couple pages of the book. But to be a cop in Exit City, to have that experience in Exit City, you got to get your hands dirty. And she also says in the book, like, the the ethical nature between police officer and catching villains is razor thin. You know what I mean? So McCormick isn't like that. McCormick is straight by the book, police procedure, blah, 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 blah. But they are new partners, and they are researching these murders that has been transpiring in Exit City. And the funky thing about this is every single one of them got their own hangups, right? Every single one of them have their hangups. And I'm gonna pull that up for you. Just give me 1 second. There you go. So yeah. So as the book opens, Eve is getting interrogated, right? So whatever the events that happened in the book already happened. So this is like present time. She's being asked questions. It's like, yeah, I know as soon as I answer these questions, y'all gonna kill me off. But so let's go on with the story. So yeah, she really don't have any hangups from what I've seen so far. Otherwise, the fact that McCormick don't really too much care for her because she does things in a shady way. And I haven't seen things that are super, super shady yet with issue number 1 and issue number 2. She's just doing regular cop shit. Like, you know, from what I've seen from other cop shows where you let the small fish go to get the big fish. One thing I did see is the get out of jail free card, right? Like next time you do a crime, you're not going to get arrested or go to jail. And, you know, that's not, for McCormick, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? That's a nuclear thing. But also McCormick is definitely interesting because when he was investigating certain murders, if you notice here, these 3 canisters, these 3 different colors, and you notice these borders right here, these are people that he's talking to. Now, McCormick is like special forces, special operations, and this is not really a spoiler. Just give you a little bit of background on McCormick is that he, in the special operations, he lost his entire unit. He was the only survivor, but his brothers, he got their mental chips in these canisters. So when he goes off and investigate, you know, a crime scene, he talks to the inside of his coat pocket and they talk back to him. The thing is, though, nobody else will hear this. They just see him talking to himself, right? So I don't know if this is legit or not, or this is like a mental thing for McCormick, but this makes it even more interesting. Now, obviously, Eve done picked up on this. She sees this, but that's all I'm gonna leave you with. Okay, that's all I'm gonna leave you with. But that's our indie comic of the week. Like Exit City is really, really good. It has somewhat of a noir feel to it. It is violent. I will say that it is violent. But I guess you got to pay attention to what exactly is going on. So yes, I will be finishing that book. Highly recommend Exit City. Exit City. You can see that on Global Comics. That's how I found it. I don't know if you're going to have a chance to see it at your LCS because it's been out for quite some time. And I just saw Black Woman on the front. Main character. I'm going to go check that out because she kind of somewhat gives off a Misty Knight type of feel to it. Just by the look. So very, very interested on how this is going to play out. Now, also, it just popped in my head. What this reminds me of. AD Police. Now, there's an anime called AD Police, which is kind of like offshoot from Bubblegum Crisis with boomers and stuff like that. But, you know, it started out these 2 partners. They didn't like each other. You know, it wasn't of the opposite sex, but they didn't like each other. Like, they punched each other in the face and all that stuff. But eventually they got along with each other. But eventually the partner had a secret that they didn't even know about themselves. And it caused a little bit of a stir. It sort of ended in a tragic way, but I don't want to tell you that. But if you have not seen AD Police by ADV Films, go out and check AD Police. I want to say maybe it's on YouTube, but I have the DVDs. I'm a very much a physical media type of person. So what this reminds me of. Slight cyberpunkish, got a sleuth noir feel to it. Exit City is definitely the book for you. Now, we're going to talk about the main event. We're going to jump into Comics the Magazine. I had fun reading this book. And I'm going to tell you, Straight out. I'm gonna first get to the about us page. Editor in chief is John Keatings. Joe Keatings is a comics writer and editor known for Shudder, Evolution, Glory, and co-editing Image's Pop Gun anthology. He's written for Marvel, DC, and Image, and is currently the editor of The Future Is from Rika Publishing. Rico Renzi was the one that commented on last week's edition of Saturday Morning Comics. Rico Renzi is a color artist and designer known for his bold palettes of Spider-Gwen, Spider-Girl, and Grimm. And his work spans on Marvel, DC, Image, and more, and has been featured in Wired and Fast Company. Next up is Megan Martson as director of operations, and Megan is a comic book and graphic novel pop culture marketing and sales specialist with Prana Direct Market Solutions. She helps promote indie comics to shops and readers, bridging creators and audiences in the comic book world. Shout out to Megan. Next up is Gabe Yoakum. He's the director of sales, and Gabe Yoakum is the comics industry veteran and business strategist, and he held roles at Midtown Comics. That should be familiar to you. Double Take, Reed Pop, and AWA, or AWA. And now serves as sponsorship and business development manager at Prana. And Adam Freeman is the publisher. Adam Freeman is a comics industry consultant and entrepreneur. He started in retail, won the 2008 Eisner Spirit of Retail Award, helped reimagine and launch multiple publishers, and now leads Prana Direct Market Solutions. He thinks he hates this picture, but he just might love it. But Brian Garside, director of digital, and Brian Garside is the superhero in residence at Minaj Comics, a digital marketing specialist, product owner, and founding member of Comics Industry Comic Standard, where he's attempted to tame the wild west of comics data, and he's been making websites since 1993 and just cannot seem to stop. Now, I will tell you about Comics the Magazine. It's over 100,000 copies in circulation, and that's a lot of eyeballs looking into it, right? And 87% of comic buyers only research their purchases when they are in the shop. That's where Comics the Magazine lives. 10,000 subscribers to Prana DM Bullet, and 100% of Comics the Magazine readers are comic readers. It's in the dang title. So I will tell you this about Comics the Magazine. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. And there's a lot of content in this book. There's a lot of content. Okay, there's interviews with Ronda Rousey. Yes, that Ronda Rousey. Let me pull this up for you guys. Just give me one quick second here. Yeah. So there's interviews with Ronda Rousey. There's the Power Rankings price guide picks, right? So in the back of the book, there is a price guide. So see if you do have some books, some variant covers or whatever the case may be, it gives you a price guide, like what the average price for that book, like what's the going rate for that book. And some of those books I recognize because some of those books I have, right? So that gives me an idea. So if I was to sell that book, how much I would get for it. So there's a price guide for that book. If you notice, with this book, because I'm gonna go through issue number one. I'm not gonna tell you what's all in issue number one. I'll just give you a rough stroke of it, because if you don't have this book, you need to go get this book. Here's the thing about this that is very, very intriguing. Okay, this book right here has a lot of content. You see this? This book has a lot of content. The average comic book is like $4.99, $5. Okay, this is like regular A cover, B cover, whichever. Not variants. Obviously, variants going to be a little bit more expensive than that. Variants going to range from 7, 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe up to $100, depending on what the variant cover is, right? But this book right here, with all this context, all this content is $2.99. This is $3 of all this content in this book. Like I don't think this is insanity. Okay, this is insanity because you got How to Make Absolute Batman with Dragotta, Snyder, and Martin and Coles. Scott Snyder is in this book. You know, he's not part of the writing team of this book, but obviously Absolute Batman is part of this. There's actually, what's funny about it, there's an indie comic or two in here. There's an indie comic or two in here. Um, yeah, I thoroughly went through this book, and it also talk about how did we get here, like fanzines, right? The history of comic book magazines out here. So most of these books I don't recognize except for Wizard. Wizard was the book that I recognized straight out the gate. Wizard and Hero. Those are the books I recognize straight out the gate because Wizard was a rock star, basically. I mean, it was rock and roll. That what Wizard was. Wizard highlighted a lot of Image comics. Yeah, they did highlight Marvel and DC. But when I remember Wizard, the magazine, I see a lot of Image comics on there. I remember Spawn being on the front. I remember Savage Dragon being on the front. I remember Wildcats being on the front. I was seeing mostly indie comics. I was not seeing Marvel, even though all that stuff was inside the book. Obviously, that was in the book. But I felt like I shouldn't have been reading Wizard. You know what I'm saying? Because Wizard was definitely PG-13. But when you look at Comics the Magazine, though, man, you got all this content. Again, you see how thick this is? All this content for $2.99. Like $3. $3, man. And so what I mean by this, like, okay, so Short Box 100. So this right here, this gives you a list of books and what's the going rate of those said books, right? So I got Absolute Batman #1, the first printing, right? So say if was slotted at 9.8, then the average cost for that is $380. If you got Marvel Superhero Secret Wars 8 from 1984, it's a 9.8. It's going for $532. So it gives you the rate of these books and how much it go for. Like Giant Size X-Men, $1,479. Excuse me, and that is a 5.0. It gives you the value of the book, the going rate for the book, the grade for the book, and you got these look at this. This classifies in the back. Classifies in the back, man. So, this book was very fun to read. Very fun to read. Oh, there's an art school book, right? It's a page right here. Teach you how to draw certain things, pouches, backpacks, stuff like that. So yeah, so this book is very, very good, man. I mean, really did like, reading through the book, rummaging through the book. Hey, yo, DMV CBN say hello. I got my copy of Comics the Magazine. See? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Bro, I thought I was missing out. I'm not even going to hold you. I thought I was missing out because when I went to my comic book store, matter of fact, I didn't call one, I called two. I called two comic book stores and they did not have it. They didn't have it. I was like, man, I'm not even going to get my physical copy. And then shout out to Scratch and Spin. Scratch and Spin say, yeah, hey, we got that. Don't worry about it. We got Comics the Magazine. I say, hey, put that on my pull box, please. Put that on my pull list and keep that going. Keep that rotation going because I want to see where this goes, because it's been a little bit. It's been a little minute since we got a comic book magazine strictly about comics, right? So I do applaud the team for doing their thing and putting out the first issue of Comics the Magazine. I wouldn't have known about it. I don't know how I would have missed that. Yeah, that's right. Scratch and Spin for the win. Scratch and Spin for the win. Shout out to Scratch and Spin. Not only do they sell comic books, they sell records too. They sell vinyl. So you can go straight to the back, get you some vinyl. The front, all comic books. The back, vinyl. Like, I like the aesthetic of that place. I really do. I like the aesthetic of that place. Music constantly playing. I mean, I wouldn't mind working there just for a few hours, like just, a week, just a day out the week, just to put it out there, But yeah, we're gonna jump through the website here of Comics the Magazine. So we're gonna go back home. So issue number 2 is gonna be featuring Battle Beast. Yeah, another new Chew story by Rob Guillory and John Layman. Pool Box Power Rankings, as always. Creator interviews about what you actually read. So I'm gonna click on this, see what it and it's going rate is $2.99. The final order cutoff is March the 9th. Obviously that's passed, but I know by now most of you guys have it on your pull list. So get it out here. So it says that Straight from Invincible Universe comes to one of the wildest book of the 2020s, and we talk to the entire creative team about how it came to be, what it takes to make it, and where it's going next. Now, after our previous issue, the entire comic book community simultaneously stood up and profusely applauded. They couldn't believe how great a read it was, loved the insight into some of the industry's biggest titles, previews, or upcoming books, and holy moly, they brought back John Layman and Rob Guillory's Chew for all new stories. And some creators did declare war over their positions in the pool bar power rankings. A battle is still raging on. So the key selling points of it is the actual price guide, creator interviews about what you do read, features on what you should read, staff picks of what you will read, actual comics you can read, and power rankings with real sales data, and possibly art instruction and classifies, comic size to fit in-store racks. And this releases on April 1st. This releases on April Fool's Day. Okay? But it ain't a joke. You're gonna get the book. It's not a joke. You're gonna get the book. You're gonna get the book. Straight out the gate. You're gonna get the book, man. So when I go there, when I go to my LCS, I'm telling you straight up.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Easily. I'm leaving with something. Now, not only that though, so there's issue number 2 and there's issue number 3. Now, the final cutoff date is April 13th, so you can actually get ahead of that. And on the front cover is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the front. If you really notice the covers of these books, it got that little tear in it right up in here. Either it's horizontal or vertical. And I do like the different colors on the cover, so this is really nice, really cool. So on this, for the key selling point for issue number 3 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and another true story by Rob Guillory and John Layman, actual price guide, and the release date is May the 6th. The final order cutoff is April 13th of 2026. So you want to get your hands on that, go ahead and pre-order Comics Magazine. Just go ahead and put it on your pull list because it's coming out every month. Okay, it's going to come out every month. Over 100,000 copies sold. Super proud of that. Just to see that. If I say one critique, if I have one critique, and when I say this, they didn't do this deliberately. It's not like a deliberate thing. Or whatever the case may be, but I do like the fact they did put out indie comics. I'm gonna need that Roots Madness. I'm gonna need the Crownsville. Some other put some black comics in there too, black, Latino, LGBTQ community, stuff like that. To further expand on the comics. But yeah, this just started. It just started. Fully understand. I definitely enjoyed this book. That's my only critique. That's probably my only critique. As I was reading the book, like, yeah, man, put some more, put some black folks up in there. You know what I'm saying? But I have a feeling that this magazine is going to be around for a little bit. This magazine is going to be around for a long time. I mean, off the first whip, you got 100,000 copies sold for Comics the Magazine. This is issue number 1, 100,000 copies. People have been reading Comics the Magazine. It's been advertised. This where it's at. I feel like, okay, when I go to my LCS, there's DC Connect, right? There's DC Connect. There's a Marvel book that lets you know what upcoming books that are out, but that's not telling you what's going on, right? It's not giving you interviews or anything like that. It's telling you the upcoming books and what dates and when you're going to put out, what you need to put on your pull list and stuff like that, from DC to Marvel, even Image. It's more like a newsletter in a way, newsletter magazine that tells you what books are coming out. So it's not going to tell you or give you like in-depth interviews or stuff like that. But with Comics the Magazine, it's giving you that stuff. It's giving you Wizard. It's giving you something to sink your teeth into, because for the comic book reader, we've been longing and fiending for a Comics the Magazine. We're fiending for that, a comic book magazine. So really do love this book. If you don't have this book, go to your LCS. They may still have a few copies, and if they do, go ahead and get it. Okay, make sure you put Comics the Magazine on your pull list. Now, if it just so happen you do not have this book, you don't have if they don't have issue number 1, at least what you can do is put issue number 2 and 3, definitely 3, 110% 3 on that. Now, DC DMV CBN says, do you think CTM will stay $2.99? Zdarsky Comics News was free, but maybe that wasn't a sustainable business model. I think where they make their money is from the advertisements, because people that paying for pages, quarter pages, half a pages, or whatever, I think that's where they're making their money at. And the $2.99 is just the icing on the cake. I think that's really where the money is. I'm not 100% certain of that, and I'm just saying that, just guesstimating here, because I see the amount of advertisement that is in this book, right? What you're paying for. And if you look on the website, like when it comes down to advertise, let's see. Okay. So advertising option, right? So you got display advertising like full, half page, quarter page. You got classified ads, which is $1 per word. You got custom packages, and you can actually see there right here. So I think that is where the money is being made at, because if the book itself is full of advertisements, then the people that are paying for that ad space is what's generating this book. I mean, obviously 100,000 copies sold at $2.99, and I'm just guesstimating here. Let's put out the old. Let's just say 1, 2, 2. Okay, so 100,000 sold, right? That $299,000, give or take, right? This without taxes, just like $299 times 100,000. That's $299,000. All right, that is not counting the ad space that people are paying for, which when I look in this book, there's a good bit of ad space. You know what I'm saying? There are people that are buying ads. So you compound that, you add that, they making some money somewhere. And I feel like most of it is coming from, the ad space, because the magazine itself, because I have an online digital magazine, right? And so oftentimes when people want ad space, I do charge for ad space. This is online digital magazine only, right? But the ad space is where you get in at. And I just said with any magazine in general, when I was Googling it and I was researching and stuff like that, ad space is where you get it, because the book itself is going to sell. All right, because you got an audience. Comics the Magazine has the audience, us, right? We read comics all the time. Till the day is long. From me to Jay Penumbra to Ernie, Blurred Out Fear, Captain Diesel, Comics of Dope, Casually Comics, Dope Spill, all these guys, myself included, we read these comics. You know what I'm saying? So, Dr. Kiori, Knight, and Pink Riot, that's out there. Shout out to you. Yeah, so I think that's where the money is, because we're gonna buy Comics the Magazine, we're gonna support it. So just on GP, how many copies are being sold? Oh, so if you selling this amount, I can pay the ad space too, because now that's more eyes for me, or for you, or whoever's putting their ads in there. So it's a cycle. That's why I say this might be around for a while. And I hope it be around for a long time. Straight out. So, but that's it for Comics the Magazine. I will definitely tell you guys to put this on your pull list. That way you know what's coming out. You can see some interviews. You can get some in-depth interviews, stuff like that. I had a good time reading this book. So shout out to the team for Comics the Magazine for putting this out. Like, straight out. Shout out to you guys for putting this thing out here. So, next thing I want to talk about, man, the Spider-Man trailer, man. The Spider-Man trailer is out, and I told you we had a jam-packed week. Brand new date. I'm gonna tell you right now what Disney as an entity did when it came down to advertising Spider-Man. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all, man. I was like, yo, why you doing this? Why you doing this? They gave you like 2-second clips, 3-second clips, right? And I'm like, yo, what is this? Why am I not getting the whole trailer?
That was 2 packs of ass.
Exactly. Like, just give me the whole trailer, yo. Give me the whole trailer. Like, we ain't got time for this. Just drop the trailer, man. Like, we ain't got time for this. We ain't got time for this. But finally, we did get the trailer, and I'm gonna break down some of the things that I saw in this trailer because I rewatched it this morning just to make sure I get my stuff together, get my mind right, when it comes to this. But I will say this. Spider-Man Brand New Day may be the best Spider-Man movie, period. It has a high potential, and I mean high potential of being the greatest Spider-Man movie because of what it's pulling from, right? You got the Man Spider storyline here, and he's going through his mutations. I don't think it's a symbiote because I feel like they would have said the symbiote right offhand, but maybe it is. Maybe it is because the symbiote is there in that universe, right? But also at the same time, you have the Punisher in this, right? He's poor, and what's funny? Some people was looking at his cell phone. They're like, "Yo, that phone is like over $1,000. Like, how you poor and have this phone or whatever?" I'm like, explain how you got an expensive ass phone and you running from check to check. Because you don't pretend like we got people out here in these streets with expensive ass phones, but they poor. You know what I'm saying? The phone gonna be right out of anything else, but nah. Like, same reason you got it. You got the expensive ass phone. Black Girl Nerd said, I don't know anybody that pays full price for a phone these days. I mean, you got, like, look at this. Like, this phone right here. I know this phone was a good rack and some change, but guess what? Hey, man, add that to my bill. I'll pay that off whenever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that. I ain't do that. It makes you feel better, but still, you still paying over $1,000 for this phone. It is what it is. But when it comes down to the Spider-Man trailer, yes, this has high potential. I mean, high potential of being the greatest Spider-Man movie ever, period. And one of the reasons of this is the Punisher. Right. Now, there's always been rumors about Frank Castle being in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I'm so glad that he's in this. And yeah, they are playing off of this because our introduction to Punisher on the small screen has always been super duper violent and a lot of cussing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of profanity out there. So it's a play off it because he was about to drop an F-bomb until Spidey hit him in the mouth with the weapon. He's like, nah, hey man, nah. This is a kids movie. This PG-13. Don't be out here in these streets, killing people, cutting heads off and all that sort of stuff. But hey, Frank in broad daylight out here. He got the battle van. He got that going on with him. So I like that. Now, if you are familiar with Spider-Man, the animated series, which I feel like you should, the Man Spider storyline involved Frank. It did involve the Punisher when Spidey fully mutated into the Man Spider. So will he fully mutate into the Man Spider? I don't know. I don't think so, but he is definitely showing symptoms. Okay, like you waking up outside in the webbing and your eyes turning black. Yeah, you might want to get yourself checked out. This right here, him waking up like, oh, I'm outside. Like, what exactly is happening? But spiders actually go through mutations, right? They go through stages. Grow 9-10 legs or get bigger or anything like that, but they go through stages. And just like with Peter being bitten by a radioactive spider, he's going through these changes. You know what I mean? Obviously puberty already happened. The man is in college, but waking up upside down in your own weapon, man, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. And DMV CBN says, and let the youngest know that the Punisher first appeared in a Spider-Man comic book. Ding, 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 ding. So Punisher is definitely part of that. Punisher is definitely part of that. So, also, this other part, Dr. Banner is not Dr. Connors. It is Dr. Banner talking about mutations and quantum mechanics and quantum dynamics and stuff like that. So he's the professor for Spider-Man. Now, they changed some things here because Dr. Connors, again, for me with Spider-Man the animated series, Dr. Connors was Peter's go-to person, right, when it comes down to mutations. But Dr. Banner is a great substitute because, it's something Banner said, hey, what you said my name was? Did you call me by name? He sounds familiar, right? Because remember in the last Spider-Man movie, he had Doctor Strange erase everybody's memory of people knowing that Peter is Spider-Man, including MJ and, including his best friend, including the Avengers. So that's it with that. So not only you got one special appearance for Marvel, you got two special appearances from Marvel with Bruce Banner and the Punisher. So now all this stuff is coming together. Now, the other part of it is who is in this chair. And my guess is, and I am like 90% sure, that is Jean Grey sitting in that chair. I am 90% sure that is Jean Grey sitting up in there. And I feel like that is going to be our introduction to X-Men, and I'm saying,
yeah, they squabbling out there now. Yeah.
So we got the X-Men up in here. So we got Jean Grey there. I'm 90% sure that's her, right? Including something else that happened in the trailer where you saw an old lady in the tank, but you saw the old lady. It's almost like it was a body jump. Went from her to the security guard to someone else. And it was like body jumping, like it was controlling the mind. So you also got the DODC in here. So that leads me to believe there's a mutant sitting right there. And that mutant is Jean Grey. I feel like that's who it is. And that's fine with me. That's an introduction to the X-Men. We was wondering when that was going to happen. And we'll see. Obviously, I think the approach that Disney and Marvel is taking when it comes to introducing the X-Men is that these are going to be young kids. You know what I mean? They're not going to be seasoned like we've read in the comic books. I feel like this is going to be like the first wave of mutants. And yeah, it could also be Firestar. Yeah, it could also be Firestar. Spider-Man, his amazing friends. And Spider-Man is amazing friends. Ooh, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see if it is Firestar. But we'll see though. We'll see if it is Firestar or not. But my guess is possible Jean Grey that's in there. Also, introduction of a villain, the Scorpion. The Scorpion is in there, right? So I do like the fit. I like the fact that, from the looks of it, just from this trailer alone, that, Scorpion's not like this jokey type of character. Like, he needs to be taken seriously. So Scorpion being part of this trailer. So I'm like, yo, all right. I'm with that. I'm down with that. So just breaking that down. Now, this right here, I had to rewind a little bit. What if this is Rogue? What if this is Rogue? You know what I mean? Just the white hair, the brown hair, stuff like that. I mean, obviously the New York Jets right there. I mean, Rogue is Southern. Rogue is a Southern gal. But what if it's Rogue? What if it's Rogue, man? I'm like, I'm thinking they dropping some Easter eggs here, but I'm thinking that might be Rogue. She just riding the bus, and they're putting that out there. But this scene right here is from the Amazing Fantasy. I like this shot. A lot of people recognize that shot. A lot of people are like, yo, I know what this is, and this from this right here, Amazing Fantasy, which is 12 cents. This is so funny, man. Approved by the Comics Code Authority. If y'all not familiar with that, there was a standards and practices for comic books, and they have to pass a certain criteria for you to put it out there to the masses. Didn't like that too much. It didn't like that too much. But yeah, they didn't want like sex and drugs and all that stuff in the comic book. So it had to get approved by the Comics Code. Thank God that no longer exists. Thank God that no longer exists. But yeah, so when it comes down to that particular scene, there you go. That's it. Amazing Fantasy right there. Love that scene. Now, who is this guy? This guy is Boomerang. Now, to be fair, I'm not super familiar with Boomerang. Spider-Man has been around for a while. And to be honest with you, Amazing Spider-Man has been in a little bit of a lull. Okay? It's been a little difficult to get into Spider-Man. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man, it feels like it went back to brass tacks. Okay? It went back to brass tacks, Ultimate Spider-Man. I feel like that book is like one of the best books out there. Also, Miles Morales Spider-Man, that's also goes to brass tacks as well. As far as Peter Parker Spider-Man, as far as comic books is concerned, it's still going to pump out books, but I don't know who out here is still buying them. But I feel like they need to bring Spider-Man back down to friendly neighborhood. Now, I think that's where it's at. And I feel like Ultimate Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man went back to that, and that's why it's selling so well. But Amazing Spider-Man with Peter Parker, and not so much. So this is definitely a character that jumped off, that I jumped off of. But Boomerang is part of this, and Boomerang is no Spider-Man. Boomerang is a foe by Peter Parker just through research, but also they actually kind of tight, sorta, kind of annoyingly so. So Boomerang being in this, the other set of characters is this right here, the Hand. Okay, this is the Hand. The Willoughby, yeah, I had to put this space shit down. See what I'm talking about? You see exactly what I'm talking about? Had to put that space shit down. And DMV CBN says Nick Spencer wrote a lot of great Spider-Man comics featuring Boomerang. They were roommates for a while. Yeah, they were roommates for a while. And to Willoughby's point, yeah, people weren't banging with that. People was not banging with that. You know, yeah, it's cool that he's in space. Even with Black Panther Intergalactic, it was like, yo, can we go back down to Earth and just see what's happening? You know what I mean? Just see what's going. And Willoughby says, I started reading JMS Spidey, and Spider-Man Torn gave me what I wanted for Spidey. Absolutely. One of my favorite Spider-Man books is Spider-Man and Revenge of the Sinister Six, Eric Larson. Really do love that book. What I do want is the Maximum Carnage storyline, the 14-part story. That's what I want, just for nostalgia purposes, right? Because, you know, I'm telling my age, but I used to play Maximum Carnage on Sega Genesis all the freaking time, right? Game was hard as shit, but and you know, you're gonna get washed a couple times, but still yet though, I do want the run of Maximum Carnage. I know it's a 14-part story. I do have one of the books from Maximum Carnage, but I really do want that book. I don't know if it's in trade paperback form or hardback cover, but if they do have that, I will get that. But I'm definitely jumping in there. But this group right here, the Hand, the Secret Ninja group, okay? The Punisher had run-ins with the Hand. Daredevil had run-ins with the Hand. Wolverine has run-ins with the Hand. Elektra has run-ins with the Hand. Iron Fist, Luke Cage, everybody had run-ins with the Hand, with this ninja group. Right? And Spider-Man going up against the Hand. Crazy work, because we'll see what happens here. But I like the fact that the Hand is here. That also leads me to believe, like, what if Daredevil's in here? Now I know, you know, what the actor said about, you know, I may not be in it. I might be in it. No, I'm not in it, but maybe I'm in it. Daredevil might be in this. He might be involved in this somewhere, somehow, some way. I mean, obviously the Punisher will be. And how will you integrate the Punisher? Like, I mean, are you going to do killings off screen? Because Punisher is definitely going to be killing folk. Okay, Punisher definitely is going to be killing folk. There's no rhyme or reason. Whatever the case be, we'll see what happens. And this is actually in jail. So this scene is in jail. So I won't say it's regular jail. It's probably like DODC where they're actually holding people hostage. So we don't fully know who's the main villain is. I mean, the hand could be just, hired guns at this point. I mean, if you really want some shit to get handled, you call the hand. You know what I mean? They're going to get it done. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get it done. I mean, unless you fighting people like Wolverine or Electra or anybody like that, man, you're going to have some problems. But next up is this guy here, Tarantula. Now, I'm thinking that's who it is, and this is how he looks in the comic books, but I want to say this might be Tarantula. This might be Tarantula. So there's a whole slew of villains that is in this trailer. So I'm thinking, you got the Punisher, you got the Man Spider, you got mutants, possibly. What if this is the Sinister Six? What if it's the Sinister Six? And I'm cool with that. I need that Hobgoblin though. I'm gonna need that Hobgoblin. I'm gonna need that Hobgoblin. Vulture already made an appearance, so that's out the window. That's out there. I mean, Vulture's not dead, but at least I don't think so. Yeah, Vulture's not dead. Dr. Octopus, what you gonna do with that? But I mean, look, Sinister Six, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it in the slightest. I mean, this could potentially be an appearance from the Sinister Six. Definitely could be one of those things. But very, very excited for this trailer. And there is a comic trailer breakdown even further, but it's the stuff that I noticed for me. This is stuff that I noticed that I picked up on. That real subtle one with Rogue being in the van. I mean in the bus. That kind of lets me know. DMV says, I'm worried a lot of this will just be a quick montage of what Spider-Man has been up to since the last movie. This could very well be one of those situations. Because how can you... Obviously, this movie is going to be more than 2 hours. Okay? This movie is going to be more than 2 hours. But, man... He might be right. This might be one of them situations where it's a montage. They're playing some music and him like tired that he's sitting beside the washing machine waiting on this costume to dry so he can go back out there again and stop somebody. And it could be one of them situations. And listen, Disney is good for doing that. They give you all this stuff, but I don't want it. I doubt it's going to be one of those trailers. It's one of these trailers where it shows you everything. So by the time you go watch the movie, like, oh, I already seen this in the trailer. I feel like there's a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to this. I feel like there's going to be some surprises that we did not see in the trailer, and hopefully Disney don't pull the trigger and just show us these surprises, because that's the beauty of it, man. If you go to these movies and watch this Marvel movie and you get a surprise that you didn't even expect, keep me out of the loop. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody, like Screen Rant and all these other places, this person is rumored to be in the movie. No. Let this be a surprise, because it's that FOMO. You know what I'm saying? So when, that first wave of people go to see Spider-Man Brand New Day, they're going to be like, oh, such and such might be in the movie. I can't sell you, blah, 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 blah. And then you got to go see it now. They're going to bring more people into it. But this day and age is very hard to keep things under wraps. But when DMV actually said this kind of makes sense. This might be a montage of Black Tarantula and Boomerang. At least those two might be. But it would be dope. It would be dope if Boomerang ends up being his roommate. That would be dope, seeing that. But we'll see. Next up, Willoughby says they gotta at least start teasing his former friend turned as Hobgoblin, right? That's why I was right. They might be a little bit of tease with that, because like in the last movie, it was like, yeah, I'm not gonna turn the villain and try to kill you or nothing like that. And there was like a eerie silence, like for like 30 seconds. It was like a 30-second silence, like, yeah, maybe this is foreshadowing that, you know, his bestie might end up being Hobgoblin. That is dirty pool right there. Dirty pool right there. But listen, you mean to tell me Spider-Man is poor? This man out here is depressed? This is the game I love right here. That's what people say. Like, this is the game I love about time, man. This that struggling Spider-Man. That's what we want. We want that. We want the struggle. We want the struggle. I mean, Spider-Man was high on the horse, man. When he was introduced, he got Tony Stark tech. He got all this stuff. Now this man don't have anything. There you go. Down bad Petey. That man is down bad. That man out here got no money. He out here, I hope he got a job. Got no hoes. He's done. He's done, man. Like, you're mutating out here. You got villains coming out the woodwork over here, and you looking at your girl over here talking to another dude, and you can't do nothing about it. But you decide to live across the hall from her, though. You decide to live across the hall from her. Mind you, they ain't college, so you hearing sounds and shit. That man down bad, though. He down bad. He down bad. This man is down bad. But hey, this is what we love to see. We love to see down bad Petey. We love to see down bad Petey. I mean, clearly, he's going to get a happy ending somewhere. I mean, this is movies. He's going to get some type of happy ending. Gwen Stacy is not there, so maybe we get an introduction to Gwen Stacy. Maybe that ends up being Peter's girlfriend. And then something happens with Gwen. Then he ends up with MJ. And then finally, you know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe. And Willoughby said really could be his villain arc, to be honest, cause that's grounds for it. Could be. DMV said he ain't got MJ. That's why he's fighting that. That's why he's fighting that. Oh, snap.
You need to get out your flesh.
Hey. That man is down bad, man. That's crazy. That's crazy work. That is crazy work. That's crazy. Crazy work, man. Crazy work. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about the Spider-Man trailer. Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day. You know, what's his role? What's he gonna play in this? But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But Spider-Man cooked, man. That man cooked.
Got his ass cooked. He got cooked.
Adrian, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.
Yeah, he done. That man done. That man done. But yo, so check it. We got one more thing. We got another thing to talk about. Yeah, Invincible. Invincible is back. I did watch the first 3 episodes of Invincible. Obviously, Invincible is going through the motions, and he was like, "Listen, you know, Conquest is still alive. This man took off, told Thrag like, yo, I lost against the boy. You know, I lost against the boy." But he has to kill somebody. You know, Adam Eve is pregnant. She out here preggers. He got a lot of stuff going on. I believe they might deviate from the comics just a little bit. I feel like they might deviate and, you know, just see what happens, and to see Nolan, what he had to go through growing up. That was brutal. Like, I have no sympathy whatsoever for the Viltrumite race as far as what they've been doing, because it was enslavement. There was mistreatment of kids. The Viltrumite population was getting wiped out, and only 50 remain. And Nolan was like, "You're the reason why my parents, like, your parents tried to kill you. You know that? Like, your mom and dad tried to kill you. On top of all that, your mom just left, pissed off at the husband, like, don't even see me again because you soft. Because you can't even kill your own son. You soft." So I'm like, yeah, it's going to get brutal. It's going to get brutal. But I do like the fact that each episode is like 45 minutes or more. Right? So I want to say it's going to be like 8 episodes. So we're getting a lot on the plate We're going to see what exactly is going on with this, and how Nolan, his name, the other character, his name escapes me right now, but they out here going from planet to planet to find things that can take out, the Viltrumite race, like space racers. It's pretty cool. Tech jacket, looking for him, which is on Earth. So I really do like that. I like that aspect of Invincible. So already good. So that's all I want to say about that. That's all I want to say about that when it comes down to Invincible. I like the fact that they gave us 3 episodes right out the gate, because man, we got hold out. I feel like we got hold last season because they give us a short ass season. I'm like, yo, what? Hey, what's this? What is this? So they had to make amends. Okay, they had to make amends. I'm gonna tell you right now, Nolan was going through it on that spaceship every night, dog. No, and then you had other available rooms that you could have just slept in. Like, nah, I got to listen to these sounds every night. That's crazy. That's crazy word. Can't say he didn't deserve it though. Can't say he didn't deserve it. I mean, look what you did on Earth, my boy. Yeah, I mean, you got to pay for your crimes. You got to pay for your crimes. But Invincible, new season is out, and go out and check it on Amazon Prime. And The Boys is coming out pretty soon too, man. There's a lot of heat, man. There's a lot of heat. Daredevil, Daredevil Born Again season 2 is coming out, I think this month, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely gonna be covering that as well. So next thing I was going to talk about is Steel Ball Run. All right, Steel Ball Run, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. A lot of people hailed this as the best story in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I'm reading the manga right now, and the manga is really good, man. The manga is really, really good. And there's a book that I'm gonna show you guys too, when I get a minute. All right, testing. Okay, I know the mic went out, but anyway. So Steel Ball Run, featuring Johnny Joestar and Gyro Zeppeli or Zeppeli, depends on what your name is, what you want to name them. There is a horse race called Steel Ball Run, and when you get to the end, you win millions of dollars. I want to say 50 mil. And this is set in the Old West. If you are familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the whole entire series really is on Netflix. You can go from start to finish. But I will say, this is the first JoJo series that don't feature like a Dio Brando, if that makes sense. So, or a recipient of that, or an ancestor, or a descendant, or whatever the case would be, like somebody not related to Dio. This is totally different. This is a different story away from like the main continuity, because if you go to like like a Battle Tennessee, Stardust Crusaders, Stone Ocean, Diamond is Unbreakable, it is all one gigantic story. Like the JoJo's versus the Brandos, right? It was like the Hatfields and the McCoys, right? Stone Ocean was the ending to that story, right? So now Hirohiko Araki is going somewhere different. Now, I mean, obviously there's JoJo Lion that's out there, because if you're looking in manga form, we are past Steel Ball Run. But a lot of people, a lot of JoJo's fans are fans of Steel Ball Run, saying this is the best, adaptation of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure outside of Golden Wind and everything else. Like, yeah, this is the best one. So now on the front, this is Johnny Joestar, this is Gyro Zeppeli. Gyro Zeppeli, like, this is the most iconic scene in the Netflix premiere, and it's also in the manga. This man is blinged out. This man got fronts, gold. It says Go Zeppeli, and it got the letters and everything on these tooth. That's how that man rolling, man. And I think, and this is Diego Brando. This is Diego Brando, short for, long for Dio. So people call him Dio for short. And we only saw the first episode, and the first episode is like 47 minutes long. 47 minutes long. Now the question is, when are we getting an episode 2? And it's not going to be months ahead. I think it's going to be a week where we don't get it. My estimation is the second episode is going to be later this week, because I think for what I understand, the director for Steel Ball Run is the same guy for Golden Wind. And but he's saying here that maybe it feels like they're making these episodes in real time. It feels like they're doing that. We were looking for a binge. I'm not even going to hold you. I was looking for a binge, and I'm like, man, I'm going to get started on it. I'm going to keep going, and then we're going to get 47 minutes, which it is the first stage, right? And from reading the first chapter onto the second chapter, it feels like there's a good bit of chapters that was being told in this one episode. Because when it comes down to manga versus anime, manga is more detailed. Okay, manga is more detailed. It's going to break things down even further. The anime is going to give you, I don't want to say cliff notes, but it gives you like the major points to get the point across, and while at the same time entertaining you. One thing you got to know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as an entity, like as an anime as a whole, is that even though it looks silly on the surface on how theatrical it is, it really does take itself seriously. I say that the power scaling when it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is some of the best, if not the best power scaling you can see in a show, because it don't do as pulls of power-ups. It doesn't do that. What your ability is what your ability is. Like, you can alter your ability. You can do things that are different for your ability. You can do different techniques with your ability. But as far as like, oh, you just saw someone die in front of you, then I'm going to just get extremely pissed and just get this power up out of nowhere that is unexplained. None of that stuff happens in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay? None of that stuff happens. But I will say, if you do not have this book, this is called Manga in Theory and Practice by Hirohiko Araki, the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. In this book, he talks about what made him transition from hormone use, which is like maybe the first 2 chapters or so in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, to stand use. And he talks about the power scaling. He talks about, you creating your own manga. So he not only educates you, or educates us rather, on the creation of manga, but he also talks about how he comes up with certain ideas for each season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So this is the book. It's called Manga in Theory and Practice, the craft of creating manga. But he used himself for examples here. He uses Yep. There we go. Testing. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now? All right. There we go. Yeah, the mic went out. Okay. Let me repeat. So Hirohiko Araki, he has this book, Manga in Theory and Practice. He is the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And he's used himself as an example why he transitions from hormone to stand use, what gives him the ideas, what's his motivations for each chapter or each story of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And he also talks about JoJo Lion. He also talks about Steel Ball Run. So yes, this is the book that you want to get. It's Hirohiko Araki's Manga in Theory and Practice. So I do say again that some of the best power scaling in anime is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I would say Hunter x Hunter is another one. With nin use, what's your technique is your technique. I mean, you can get better. There's no ass pulls. There's no crazy power-ups. There's nothing like that. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is it. Now, I do have an article from Comic Book Resources, CBR. Well, comicbook.com. He says the day it finally arrives that the Joestar enthusiasts have been waiting for since the conclusion of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Anime fans have been counting down the days until they can witness the introduction of Johnny Joestar to the screen. Now that the horse race has begun on Netflix, fans can finally witness one of the best storylines that Hirohiko Araki has made. Unfortunately, there's a surprising lack of news regarding what comes next for the future of Steel Ball Run as viewers enter into this brave new world. So it says, while the first episode is now available to stream on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run on Netflix. Neither the streaming service nor David Production has revealed when can we expect episode 2. With the premiere arriving at a meaty 45 minutes. So it changes. It goes from 48, 47, 45 minutes. I'm going to still be optimistic and say 48. Many expected that the streaming service was returning to a weekly schedule, something that made Joestar diehards have been waiting to see make a comeback. Unfortunately, it seems as though the next installment landing 1 week from today on March 26th isn't a foregone conclusion. While some JoJo fans might be sad to learn of this fact, there's an upcoming event that might give us an idea of what the future holds in store for Johnny and Gyro. Now, it also says that luckily we may hear when episode 2 will arrive sooner rather than later. And this month, we'll see the major anime event known as Anime Japan take place, focusing on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on March 28th. Now, several of the major voice actors will be in attendance, including Shogo Sakura, Yohei Azakami, Kaito Ishikawa, Masaki Mizunaka, Kenichiro Matsuda. While specific details of what will be revealed on the stage remain a mystery, we have to imagine that it will hint at what is to come for Steel Ball Run. So I don't think that it's going to be much on end that we're going to get episode 2. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think that we're going to get it in a few weeks. I rewatched Steel Ball Run, but I'm a little bit of an impatient cat. I'm impatient. I'm going to go ahead and read ahead, right? Now, if you have Shonen Jump, if you have the Shonen Jump app, you can actually subscribe to the Shonen Jump app. I think it's like $1.99 to $2.99 a month. So you can actually read Steel Ball Run. You can actually go through with it. You can be ahead of it. And then when you see it animated, you can see the differences. So I would highly encourage you guys to read the manga. I think the use of stands is great. The villain, I can't wait to see the villain. I don't want to tell you who the villain is. But he's one of my mains when it came down to through the fighting game version of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think it's like Battle R or something like that. But yeah. It involves dice, taking you to a different dimension. It's different. I'm telling you right now, it's different. And I think for the simple fact that it is different from the main continuity of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when it comes down to Dio and JoJo's and stuff like that. Yeah, we with that 110%. So Steel Ball Run, we'll be covering more of that. Now, finally. So give me one second. We're going to talk about Nightwing, right? We're going to talk about Nightwing leaping into the light, man. I'm going to tell you, this book is... Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo. This book right here, when it comes to DC Compact Comics, this is a great marketing campaign because like each month you get like 2 of these, and Nightwing leaping into the light. I immediately picked this up. I read this book earlier this week. And there's certain scenes in this book that I really did love. I did talk about this book just a little bit on Threads. I'm like, man, I'm gonna talk about it on Saturday Morning Comics. But and I did show you The Crossroads Begins with Nightwing with Dennis Cowan art and Dan Waters. And I'm like, before I jump into that, I want to read this book. I want to read Nightwing Leaping into the Light. I'm gonna tell you right now. So Nightwing's personality, Nightwing's motivations, his character is not lost on me. It never was lost on me. But as far as like sitting down and reading a Nightwing storyline, I have not done that up until recently. Like I did Leaping into the Light with Tom Taylor. Now, I will say this though. In this book, it tells you the essence that is Nightwing. The essence that is Dick Grayson. And what I mean by that is Bloodhaven is his city. This is his town. I do like fact. Let me back up for a second. He should be Batman. You know what I'm saying? Dick Grayson should be Batman. Now, if there's a suitable Batman replacement, it ain't Damian, obviously. It ain't Tim, it's Dick. Like it's Dick Grayson, right? This is a a genuine human being. And it shows this in this book, Leaping into the Light. And like how many people will ride for this man, how many people has rolled out for this man. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm gonna show you something. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you right offhand how people pull up for this man. Cause they was coming to beat ass. So this scene right here, right? When he found out that Mayor Zuko is his half sister, and it's not Tony Zuko's daughter. He finds this out, right? He like, yo, give me this mask real quick, dog. I'm gonna need this mask real fast. He like, look, everybody stand down. Everybody stand down. You know who pulled up? You see this? You see who all pulled up? This man was only off the grid for a few minutes. For a few minutes, he was off the grid for that long. And he was like, wait, hold up, something ain't right. Batman pull up. Dinosaur pull up. The Teen Titans pull up. His ex showed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was ready. They're like, hey, give me this mask because I got peoples that's coming to beat your ass. Like, this ain't what you want, dog. This ain't what you want. Like, this tells you, this is a testament on the people. It's a Teen Titan Go. They was going to whoop that ass. They was going. They was going. Hey, they was about to roll, man. They about to roll up on you. That reminded me of Black Clover. That scene in Black Clover where one of the Black Bulls was getting bullied and everybody pulled up on him. And like, yeah, you make one more move, dog. We're gonna put you on ice. We're gonna put you on ice, my dog. We're gonna put you on ice, my dog. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm trying to put it into words. Dick Grayson may be the best character DC has. And they made, like, as far as a genuine human being, it says Bat said a few times in the book he ain't playing about his son. Easy. Like the one, hey, you ain't fucking with Nightwing. You ain't fucking with Dick, dog. You ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. He said, okay, we doing a long show today. That's what we talk about. I told you we had a lot of stuff to talk about. Today. So this what lets me know right offhand, because it made me tear up a little bit. It's the letter from Alfred to Dick, because Dick is in Bloodhaven, right? And he has no money. He's still doing stuff around the city. He's still, protecting the city. Bloodhaven is not as bad as Gotham is, because Gotham is a cesspool. But Bloodhaven has its outliers, right? And he's doing this thing. And Barbara shows up to, help him out. And he gets the letter. And he reads this letter from Alfred. And Alfred's like, yeah, I'm proud to call you my son. And is it okay if I drop a late tonight? No, hey, no. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, do your thing. Go ahead and drop that link. My boy. Go ahead and drop that link. I'm gonna watch it myself. So I will say this: the letter from Alfred to Dick, he was like telling him how much he appreciates Grayson. How you're my son, and Alfred left this man billions. He left this man money. He was like, yo, I had no use to. And then Dick was like, how you got this money, but you been washing my drawers and you been washing my dishes? And Barbara just straight up told him. She was like, because this is what he wanted to do, because he loved you that much. Like, after Dick finished reading that letter, he cried, right? Like, you got this money. You went from broke as a joke, because you was on that Spider-Man time. You was on Spider-Man time. You was, you had this whole building, but you was dangerously close to not having lights, my boy. You wasn't going to have any lights. You wasn't going to have no lights on. So, but you went from ashy to classy. That's what he did. He went from ashy to classy. But what's the first thing this man does though with this money? He was like, and he's so humble with his money, right? They go to get pizza. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get 2 slices of pizza. And Barbara's like, you know, you just got over $1 billion, bro. And he's like, oh, you're right. 4 slices of pizza. Like, lacking imagination. He's like, what you gonna do? So what did he do? He feeds the city. Anybody that doesn't have food, don't have shelter, don't have none of that, immediately put that money to use. And like, yo, because this is father-son like duo. He like, y'all hungry? Get you something to eat. Matter of fact, spread the word. Whoever they ain't eating, get them something to eat. By the way, I'm gonna get you a room in the 4 Seasons for a month or 2 or whatever until you get yourself on your feet, and you let me know by the end of the month is if you need something else. Okay, and I'm dead ass about that, right? So this man was feeding the multitudes. What this man is doing is what, to be honest with you, I feel like we have several billionaires in the real world. This could very easily be done. Like, this is easy work, right? Not everybody. Now, they did point out the fact that not everybody is going to be as appreciative of what you do. But as a majority, everybody will be appreciative. And Dick is leading by example. Like, he's literally leading by example. Fast as he got this money, he put it into something he called the Alfred Pennyworth Foundation, where it helps out the underprivileged communities. And Batman calls him immediately. Because you know what? He didn't even call Batman for advice. He didn't call Bruce for advice, right? You know, he talked to Barbara about it. He talked to Superman about it. He said, I didn't want to go to Bruce about this. And, it's my money. Even Superman, like Superman was on the name of Nightwing. And like Superman to me is not the greatest hero. Like Dick doesn't have powers. He's not the best fighter in the world, but he's the best human being. And I think with Leaping Into the Light, it showcases that like in such a way that you cannot hate Dick Grayson. You cannot hurt this man physically. And I think with the pages that I showed you, that it shows you how much love everybody has for Dick. And I think it was said in Dark Crisis that Batman was talking about him, and he was like, the best of us is Dick Grayson. Like, he's uncorruptible in ways. In some ways, he's like Captain America or Marvel, but he's with DC. You know what I mean? Like, he's very motivational type of person. He knows his limitations. He knows when he can ask for help. Bruce ain't gonna ask for help like that. You know what I'm saying? But Dick will ask for help like that. Like, Tim Drake is in here. He's getting back with Barbara. Oh, let's not forget the Riz. Like, Dick Grayson got Riz. Okay? The man got some baddies. Okay? This man be bagging baddies. You know what I'm saying? This man is not without baddies. Now, he's not without. Okay? He ain't gonna be by himself for very long. He ain't no playboy, nothing like that. But still yet, though, he got the Riz. He was like, he ain't got no, because everybody loves, Nightwing. That's what it is.
You need to get out your flesh.
Here we go. But yeah, so this book is very, very enjoyable. It has a lot of action in it. Obviously, Blockbuster is like one of the main villains. You got his half sister that's in here. I think someone talked about it on Threads, like they got the omnibus. I didn't know there was a Nightwing omnibus, but I'm gonna definitely get the omnibus. There's a lot of funny moments in here. So here's the funky thing about it. I'll tell you this much. So while Dick was feeding the multitude, right? He was feeding all the underprivileged people. He got pickpocketed. Like someone took his wallet. Someone took this man's wallet. And Barbara was like, oh, nah, this going in the group text, dog. This like, ain't no way you fed all these people and someone stole your wallet, fam? Like, ain't you the first person to get trained by Batman? You let somebody take your wallet, dog? He's like, nah, this going in group text. This going to group text. So everybody chimed in. And so Bruce was so funny about it. He's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, Bruce sent you a wallet by Tim. And they got a chain on it just in case somebody try to pickpocket you. You got a chain on it. That way if somebody was like pulling on your pants or something. And I'm like, yo, that's dirty work. That's dirty work. That is dirty work. So, right. So there's a bad group text, right? So I think that what makes it so refreshing, right? Like is a healthy balance of action. There's a healthy balance of humor. There's a healthy balance of just being human. And I can't say no horror elements, but there might be some suspenseful elements in it. And by the end of reading Leaping into the Light and knowing what Grayson did to defeat Blockbuster, very, very smart. I mean, Grayson has a lot of help. He has a lot of people in his corner. He is a proven leader. And it's to the point where I don't really want to see him in Gotham. Like, I don't want to see him in Gotham. I'd rather see him in Bloodhaven. I know he had his first solo assignments back in 96, and I think it was a genius idea to move him from Gotham to Bloodhaven to be in his own, like, space. You know what I mean? Like, to be in his own wheelhouse and do his own thing, prove himself, because when we think of Damian, we still think of Robin. You know what I'm saying? When you think of Tim, you still think of Robin, right? And a lot of people in a lot of spaces says Tim Drake is the best Robin. Very well could be the case. But when we think of Dick Grayson, we think of Nightwing and what he's able to do out there. So he's just super smart all around, good character curation. I feel like if there any, it's a Damon's a psycho. Yeah, low key. Yeah, ain't no high key actually. Damon will kill your ass. Like, just straight out. Damon will put you on ice, dog. He put toe tags on you. God who raised him. So, I feel like if there was any type of character change with Grayson, like him being like a jackass or whatever the case would be, it would not be well received. I think the fact that he's such a all around wholesome character is a proven point of everybody liking him. You know what I mean? Like, if he ever kicks the bucket, you know what I'm saying, for a long time, it's going to be a tragic thing. But, people don't stay dead in comics for very long. So it's like, okay, he's dead. He'll be back in a couple months. I don't think that's going to happen. So now that I read Leaping into the Light, if you have not read this book, this is DC Combat Comics. And one thing for sure about DC Combat Comics, you get all this for $10. That's a steal. That is a steal. So now that I read this, one of my favorite books for sure. One of my favorite books. I'm gonna read some more Tom Taylor stuff. Now that I've read this, I'm going to read The Crossroads Begins with the Dennis Cowan art and Dan Waters and see where this takes me. And yes, I will be covering that next week. I will be covering Nightwing next week with this new issue that's out. Can't wait to jump into that and see what happens with that. But you know what? I'm gonna do something right quick. I'm before we get out here, I'm gonna do something right quick. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check and see if there is a Nightwing omnibus. Okay, there's a Bloodhaven compendium. Okay, all right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what happened. Oh, the Willoughby says the second part of Tom Taylor run omnibus comes out in July. Bruh, let me tell you something. Your boy getting married in June, okay? Your boy getting married in June. The kids start school July 30th. I'm gonna be broke. I'm gonna be broke. I'm gonna just tell you right now, I'm gonna be broke. I'm seeing it in my future. I'm gonna be broke for the summer, dog. I'm gonna be broke. I'm gonna go ahead and make it. I'm saving money now so I can spend extra money later. That's exactly what I'm doing. And DMV says Bruno Redondo just released a Nightwing art book. Ooh. See? What is? Yeah, you cook like Peter. Yeah, you cook like Petey. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm cooked, man. I'm cooked. When it comes to the money, dog, I might be cooked. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good books out there. And it's an addiction. I'm going to tell you right now, it's an addiction. whenever you see some good books out here, you wanna get your hands on it, right? So check it. Oh, so they got Nightwing, A Night in Bloodhaven. They got the compendium, that's like $35.99. That's Chuck Dixon. There's a Nightwing Fear State. There's a hardcover, that's Tom Taylor. There's a Nightwing Fear State trade paperback. There's Nightwing Joker War, Nightwing Year One. Scott Beatty. There's a Dennis O'Neil trade paperback. There's a Kyle Higgins joint. The Prince of Gotham Omnibus. There's a hardcover Volume 1, Dan Waters. And there's a Tim Seeley joint with DC Rebirth. And there's a Bruno Redondo. Okay, The Leap. Okay. There's some books. There's some good books. Okay, Leaping into the Light. There's a hardcover, which I already have that. Well, I don't have the hardcover, but I got the the compact comic. Man, there is a lot of Nightwing and stuff, man. Good night. Oh, ain't even $10. If you go on In Stock Trades, man, you can get the Leaping into the Light compact comic for $6. Cannot beat that. There's a lot of Nightwing. I do got a question though. I do have a question for the Geek Corner though. Tom Taylor or Dan Waters? When it comes to telling a Nightwing story, do y'all prefer Tom Taylor or Dan Waters? Who do y'all prefer? I'm gonna wait on that one. Oh, it says panel bounds for Nightwing Omni. Okay. Definitely looking at that. Y'all got to let me know in the comments though. So I will say, I will say next week is gonna be a little busy. Next week's gonna be a little busy. I'm probably gonna start recording again. Oh, by the way, there is a live show coming. There's an interview. The official Tashi. She is one of the queens of Midnight Comics, independent comics, by the way. So I'm gonna have her on the show. And he said, I'll give Dan a little longer for sure. I'm finna be biased because Dennis Cowan on the art. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. And DMV says he haven't read any Dan Waters yet. Now's a good time. So let's see. I thought I had the book. Give me 1 minute. There you go. Now's the time. There we go. Now's a good time. Right here. Now's a good time to go ahead and get you some Dan Waters. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely gonna be covering this. I'm definitely gonna be jumping into this. I want to talk about Speed Racer too. I want to talk about Speed Racer and Racer X and all that. So I definitely want to jump into that a good bit. Let me know if y'all are interested in that because I'm interested in some Speed Racer, man. I'm in the mood for some Speed Racer. See where that goes, man. So now I would definitely tell you this, man. If you love this show, go ahead and share this show. Share the page to like-minded individuals like yourself. You know, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. Like I said in the beginning, because with that notification bell, hit that drop-down box. You put it down as all. That way you get notified on all of our content live and recorded. This week I did Storm, issue number 2, Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant. So go ahead and check that out. So next week I'm definitely going to be covering some Nightwing, Kaito 84, and hopefully I can get to Speed Racer and Racer X. So if I don't get to that as far as the recording is concerned, I'm definitely going to be talking about that on Saturday Morning Comics. So either way, it's going to get covered. So either it's going to be like one of the recorded videos or it's going to be part of the Saturday Morning Comics, like main story things that we're going to talk about. So, and I also will be back next week with another indie comic of the week. So there's a comic book series that I haven't avoided, but I wanted to take my time and like sit back and read. And I don't want to say it right offhand, but I do feel like you guys have been reading it. I do feel like it is an indie comic for sure, and it's pretty action packed. There's 2 comics actually that I want to dive into and actually talk about. But I'm glad you guys was able to hang out with your boy, man. This is actually so I went from one of the most viewed live shows last week to one of the longest live shows this week, but I was able to hold it down. For you guys. I'm able to entertain you guys. We had a good time today. Now, in an hour's time, well, a little bit more than an hour, go over there to Blur Without Fear, man. Go ahead and check out Blur Without Fear because his show is at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And he's talking about Green Lantern Corps. So go ahead and check him out as well, man. So there's a lot of comic book content creators out there. A lot of black comic book content creators out there. So, go ahead and check it out. So, again, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. So, I'm going to be out of here. So, until next time, y'all. Peace. Oh, remember, if you're going to the comic book store, always make sure.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.